3 days into sophomore year, my locker sighed open and a spiral slid against metal. Above the vents, in tidy chalk marker, someone had written, "Breathe in 4, hold 7, out 8. I hadn't put it there. The bell rang inside my ribs. I scrubbed the words with my sleeve until they blurred into a gray thumbprint, shut the door, and tried to be ordinary. In math, numbers slid off the board. In the cafeteria, a fork tapped a tray like an alarm only I could hear. After last period, I opened the locker again, half daring the air to be normal. The smear was gone. The sentence sat there new as if it had always lived in the paint, and I'd finally found the right light. Breathe in 4, hold 7, shoot, I showered at her 8. Out of stubbornness more than faith, I did it. In 4 counts, my chest felt like a room with the window cracked. In 7, the ache behind my eyes loosened its grip. In 8, the day let go of my shoulders. I looked for the kind of person who writes rescue lines for strangers and hides. I saw only rows of doors pretending to be the same. I wrote nothing back. Still, I walked to the bus with a folded, private map of my lungs, proof that maybe I wasn't broken, just out of practice. And for the first time in months, I knew the way home. The next morning, the locker was cool against my forehead. New handwriting waited, looped and careful. Ask for help. You're not weak. My mouth said, who? But the hallway swallowed it, chewing with sneaker soles. I checked the hinge for a camera, the vents for a joke, folded into a paper football. Nothing. In homeroom, the PA coughed announcements like old radio static. A kid tore notebook paper into snow. In English, I answered a question, and my voice didn't crack, but my palms kept time with my heart. At lunch, I ate 3 grapes. By last period, I was a backpack of zippers. When the bell rang, I stood in the hallway and listened for footsteps that knew my name. None. Just bells and lockers, and a teacher wearing keys. I opened the door and the message seemed a little bolder, as if survival leaned in to underline it. Ask for help. You're not weak. I imagined a future version of me, taller by a breath, writing it there, with a smirk and a hug. I imagined a friend I hadn't met yet, steady like a bench. I imagined a counselor whose office smelled like tea bags. The thoughts felt like shoes a size too hopeful. I wrote nothing, but I memorized the sentence the way you memorize a bus route. Not because you might need it soon, because there is a way to move. Then because I could, I asked the library aide if they had any books on breathing. She said yes. The reply was small, written so close to the edge I almost missed it. It's you, from the day you finally felt okay. The letters curled shyly like they'd been left by someone who respected silence. I laughed, one puff, then looked over my shoulder like the future might be standing there. It didn't feel like a prank. It felt like a version of me had learned to write in light. I pressed my palm to the cool metal and felt how solid the world could be. That day, the stairs to the 3rd floor didn't tilt. The hallway where I disappear made room for my shoulders. A boy dropped his binder, and we both crouched to gather the avalanche. He said thanks like we were teammates not yet introduced. In bio, the teacher drew lungs in blue, 2 pale balloons learning wind. The bell sounded less like a siren, more like knock. At home, I wrote a sticky note and put it on my mirror. If future me can reach me, maybe I can reach her back. I imagined sending homework she already knew, jokes we would laugh at, courage wrapped in craft paper. That night before sleep, I tried the 4 to 7 and the 8 again and felt my spine stack like books on a shelf. The next morning, the locker wore a new line under the old. Bring water. Eat something real. I could hear the gentleness in it, like someone adjusting a lamp so the room forgets the dark. I ate a banana so ripe it tasted like permission. On Thursday, the rain striped the classroom windows like old film. A rumor traveled period to period about a fight near the gym. The principal's shoes squeaked authority down C Hall. I opened my locker to find a checklist in handwriting that looked like mine if it had slept well. Before panic, 1, feet on floor. 2, find 5 blue things. 3, breathe 4, 7, 8. 4, ask, what's the kindest next minute? Beside each line, a tiny box waited, patient as a held hand. In chemistry, my stomach tried to climb a ladder into my throat. I checked one box, then another. Blue things. Binder spine, teacher's mug, a smudge on the ceiling tile, locker number plates, did the sky wedge between buildings. Breathe, count, ask. I whispered, "What's the kindest next minute?" And my brain answered, "Chew your sandwich." So at lunch, I chewed and tasted mustard like it was a new color. The hallway softened around the edges. Someone was crying in a bathroom, somebody else laughed like a trumpet. Life went on, messy, loud, survivable. After school, I wrote a box of my own. 5. Text one person you trust. I stared at it until I could see my reflection in the ink. Then I sent a message to my cousin. "Can I call later?" She replied, "Anytime." The word opened like a door I hadn't known was unlocked. I didn't sprint through. I just stepped in and stood there fully, breathing like a person. Friday, a pedal from the maple out front stowed away in my hood. In the mirror, it looked like an award for surviving the bus. I opened the locker and found the marker like a flashlight that knew my name. Above the vents, in that same kind script starting to feel like home, the message read, "Ask a counselor for the study group. Your brain deserves a team." My throat went tight the way it does before a good cry or laugh. I stood, hands cold, then warmer, then brave. I wrote, "Okay." Then I added, "Today at lunch." When the clock shrugged toward noon, I walked to guidance. The waiting room smelled faintly of lemon cleaner and something softer. Behind the desk, a woman looked up with eyes that had seen storms and weren't afraid of my weather. "Study group?" I said. "She'll be right out," she said, and it sounded like a door being held. On the corkboard, flyers for chess, poetry, robotics, a printout about breathing techniques that used the same numbers as my locker. A boy tapped his knee like a metronome and nodded like we were already part of something. When the counselor came, she said my name correctly on the first try. It landed like a promise. I followed her into an office with 2 chairs, a window, and a plant trying you had to root for it. "I think I've been leaving myself messages," I said. She smiled. "Good," she said. "Let's keep reading them."
If you needed that, my teen guide has simple tools for real school days. It's on 88quan.com.